And here is a special edition of the podcast that we shot and recorded at the India Bike Week. Let's get into it. Shas, welcome to the Biker Radio Rodcast. Welcome to the long way home. Welcome to the India Bike Week. And welcome to the world of podcasting.
Thank you so much, Sandy. It is a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me. I feel so good that
You're
we
most
finally
welcome.
met after so long.
I know I've been waiting for donkey's years to meet you.
I'm so sorry. I've been always traveling here. They're pulled everywhere for the races.
And what an meteoric success you've had. And people calling me up, do you know this guy is going, what is this thing you're doing, man? Enduro rally, and now it's hard enduro rally. I thought enduro rally was something, but now it's hard enduro rally. Wasn't enduro rally tough enough?
It was, but Sandy, see, I come from a third world country where already the motorsport culture doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And my main reason to race motorcycles
Yeah.
is not the accolades or the fame,
Yeah, okay.
My main reason to race is to build a bridge for the upcoming generation or for the veterans like you who used to ride before.
Okay.
Have the freedom to ride. We have motorcycle sporting equipments and events where we can just go out and enjoy ourselves and come back.
Yeah.
No doubt enduro is quite difficult, challenging.
Yeah. So explain the sport to me. What is enduro?
So hard enduro is a kind of a discipline
Okay.
which is the most extreme in off-road.
Okay.
So extreme in a way that most of the tracks are single tracks. Single tracks say 5 feet wide.
Okay.
And a person has to commit to it mentally too. It's just not about the physical fitness.
Right.
The obstacles sometimes are way beyond difficult. I remember a log section, so there were logs on the track and logs were like 3 feet big.
Yeah.
But the logs were not on a straight line. It was
Right.
an uphill climb and there were over 90 logs in that section.
Oh my God.
So a person should know how to do a double blip or a triple blip. These are some enduro, super enduro techniques.
Okay, so jumping over
Yeah, you're
one
just
of them is a
making
blip?
contact on the first tire, like
Yeah.
the front tire, you make a contact,
Yeah.
and then you just blip it, and both the tires go ahead.
Oh,
And it was a commitment that you have to do it for 90 times
Wow.
in one run. You have to just keep on hopping.
continuous projectile.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one more funny thing. There was one log 10 feet big. So I was like, you can't jump this. And I'm waiting there just like a fool, what to do now. And then I saw a guy who was behind me. He just came. He came out of his motorcycle. He was down on his knees and he was like crawling below the tree, and he made it through. And I was like, damn, I need to crawl also now. So I was like, oh man, I'm going back to my childhood. Like what I'm doing with the motorcycle. So yeah.
I didn't get this bridge between your generation, the new generation, the old generation. That'll have to be a big bridge.
Yeah. So the culture of hard enduro is in a way that even a kid can race it or
Yeah.
even a veteran above 60 can race it.
Really?
You need to be fit to race it.
Oh.
And I'll tell you a story from Romaniacs, okay? So on the scrutiny race, so there's an inspection day before the race.
Yeah.
It is called scrutiny and technical checks.
Yeah.
So I was sitting with some 4-5 English gentlemen and I told them, I'm a cross-country racer from India and this is the first time I'm coming to a hard enduro event.
Yeah.
So they looked at me like, they was like, what is wrong with you, boy? Why Redbull Romaniacs?
Yeah.
This is the most difficult race.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't have an option for anything else.
Right.
People don't know Romaniacs. How do you expect them to know anything else? So they said, you won't finish. This is my 5th time. This is Daniel. It is his 7th time. This is Mark. It is his 6th time. And this is my 5th time. If I don't finish, I'm quitting. It's like,
Wow.
you signed up for something wrong,
Seriously?
So I'll be honest with you, in my mind, I was like, hey, nothing like that. I'm
Yeah.
going to take his case. That attitude,
Yeah.
like Indian attitude of competition. Ki,
Bring it on, baby.
तेरे को ही overtake मारूंगा सबसे पहले.
You've done Chanjoba, you've done Raid the Himalaya, you've done everything possible in this country, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start there. Where did the ignition come in?
So
Whose bike was it first?
it was my dad's bike only.
Really? What was he riding?
He used to ride a RD250 and a RX 100. So when I was 5 years old, all my cousins, they used to watch WWF at that time, on 10 Sports from 4:30 to 5.
Oh, wow.
And at 5, there used to be MotoGP.
Yeah.
So I used to watch MotoGP and take a chair and move it upside down and hold the legs like I'm holding a motorcycle and going down with Loris Capirossi 96 to the left, to the right.
Oh.
So it was fun, that's how it kicked in. Then I got a bicycle, I started riding.
Okay.
Then once my dad gave me the throttle of his bike, this is how you hold the throttle.
He did?
Yeah.
How old were you?
5. So I
Five?
I figured out, like how to hold the throttle and stuff. Then I asked him, what is this? He said, brake, clutch. Then he taught me. So after some years, 3 years, me and my homies, we started stealing his bike, He used to be in office and we used to steal his bike.
Yeah.
And started down the hill because that
Oh my
time
God.
locks and all was there but not that functional. So most of the 2 strokes were like, you can just start them with the gear.
Yeah.
So me, my boys used to ride, and we used to think that my dad has put a secret password or a lock on the bike that will only run for some time.
Yeah.
Because I didn't knew that a carburetor there is off, on, or reserve.
Yeah.
So we used to ride the bike on off,
And then push it.
till the time it comes like 200, 300 meter, ride it. And the moment the bike is dying down, I used to look for a wall where I can just park the bike and come off it.
Okay.
Or maybe circle a ground, and when the bike is too slow, jump off the
Oh my God.
bike. And every time my dad used to come back and look at his engine guard, he
Mirrors
used to be
also.
like, why, who's riding my bike? Why is this getting bent?
Right.
And mother was sleeping. So that's how innovation took place, like stealing and riding his motorcycle.
For a lot of us, it started that way.
Yeah. Then in 2006, when I started watching videos, on YouTube, and I used to see people stunt riding, and there was a huge stunt riding community on a website called Orkut back then.
Wow.
So that time, I got introduced to a lot of people in Pune and Bangalore who used to actually ride.
Really?
And then I had in my mind, I really want to do this thing. I have to take this forward.
Okay.
So I started stunt riding, and I was a rebel kid.
But whose bikes? Where do you get the bike from? What did you do? I mean, what motorcycle? Dad's motorcycle?
Nope. So I started on a moped, on a scooty.
You
Dio.
really?
And
Okay.
So my dad gave me a challenge that if I get, say, 100 in 3 subjects, physics, chemistry, maths.
क्या बात कर रहे हो? PCM.
Yeah, in my 9th standard,
Yeah.
in 8th standard, he'll get me a scooter. So
Achha.
somehow, not 100, but I managed something, okay?
Yeah.
So he was like, okay, I'll get you a scooter.
Yeah.
And I think he calls it like that. That was his biggest mistake. That first mistake was to teach me how to control a throttle, and second was giving me a Dio. And then friendship happened. One of my best friends, Lakshya Kanduri, the founder of Team Evolution,
Yeah.
he started sneaking out.
Lucky. I've heard that name.
Yeah. He started sneaking out from the school, and we used to bunk and practice and stuff, like 2 boys on 1 moped, dashing 50 rupees. And petrol was cheap, 35 rupees.
Yes.
So we used to do whatever we could, and then dress up again and go back to home, say we are coming from school. So that's how it started.
Wow.
Then I lost focus from studies for a few months.
Sure.
But then I got back on track because machines really fascinated me.
Right.
So my dad, then I had a word with my dad, and I told him that I want to do this motorsport seriously and take this passion forward.
Yeah.
So he told me that you have to go through the basic cycle of life. You have to get educated, and you have to join a college, university.
Yeah.
So then he gave me a challenge that if you join university, I'll try and support you.
Okay.
Yeah. So after my 12th standard, I joined Delhi University, and then my dad said, okay, I'll get you a bike. He got me a bike. Then I went for a race in Mumbai. Again on the same moped. I want to start with my moped. So I went to the race on that moped, sitting in train 2 days, and then bringing my scooty out. Everyone asking me that UK, where is this bike from? And I'm like, Uttarakhand, man, not United Kingdom. I won my first race. It was a good start.
Okay.
And I really got confident, and I started racing around.
Yeah.
So it has been a long journey, but a great
What
journey.
was the first race?
Gulf Monsoon Scooter Rally.
Wow. A lot of our listeners don't know the difference between dirt riding and enduro. Can you explain? So it's dirt tracks, everyone understands, right?
So dirt track is on a flat, like a flat surface.
Yeah.
Modulations are created.
Okay.
Like they are created by machines and humans by earth shaping, and it's a format which runs for a shorter time.
Oh, what about the trails where you kind of, ride into the forests and...
So when we ride into the forest and we commit to some endurance climbs,
Yes.
like one is giving gas to go fast, and one is giving gas in order to, able to climb that climb, or maybe using both of your brakes to come down a climb.
Right.
So enduro is about endurance also.
Right.
So in Romaniacs, it was 100 kilometers a day,
Right.
but it was one shot, and the only break was 20 minutes to fix yourself and your bike.
God.
It was not like that. You can wait, and you can half sip water, and then you can go. Then there is delay in the next start. It was all like electrical,
Yeah.
one circuit to second to third. So it was like doing a HIT on my motorcycle.
Okay.
But yes, that's endurance is about.
Okay. Can you explain what what is the size, scale, and intensity of an event like that?
So, I'll be very honest here.
Yeah.
They don't post pictures, otherwise people won't participate.
Because
But
it's
actually,
scary as hell.
how difficult the race is, and if you talk about this size of the event, it happens on the. It starts from the main road of their city, okay?
Yeah.
And there's a
So
national.
where did it start?
It starts in Sibiu.
Okay.
It's a city in Romania,
Okay.
and they stop their main junction for
Okay.
2 days. And
For
the,
2 days?
Yeah, and it's like a festival, you know.
Yeah.
Like the city goes into a festival mode, and banks are shut, everything is shut, and people are enjoying the motorsports there.
Saint Motorcycle Day.
Yep, and actually, man, like 675 competitors. So into 2 also, if you do, there will be participants, friends, then
Yeah.
other people supporting. So the main, if we talk about Delhi, they stop the Connaught Place of Delhi,
Wow.
and everyone is happy to go around it
Yes.
rather than trying to create a ruckus coming from the same line.
Yeah.
They leave the people for the space.
Okay,
And
so
they-
that's where it happens?
yeah, that's where it kicks off. So
Okay.
it kicks off from a prologue kind of thing. Prologue is like a pre-race mix to
Yeah.
give you a gist of it, how it would be.
Yeah.
So they put you through some tests, say obstacle, loose rocks, planks. Then there was one section of tire section. So if you know about those big dumping trucks from Mack, the
Oh,
Mack
yes,
company, the
yes.
yellow ones, which
Yes.
are used in iron ore,
Yes.
mining and all.
Yes.
So one tire was like bigger than me. I'm 6.
Yeah.
And the tire was taller than me. And I was like, I have to ride this up. How?
And it's standing.
Yeah, you have to go through it. Like you have
Oh.
to.
It's
like-
flat on the ground?
No, it's standing.
It's standing.
You have to go over it, and it's a pile of it. It's not just one. Like you have to cross 7, 8 of it, and then you come down. Then you, there are rocks placed on the track again on a uphill, and those rocks are loose. They're not well packed. They're loose, so you don't know if this will move or it won't move.
Wow.
And I crashed there. Then I got up and I again started riding.
Yeah.
Then there are 2 lines. One line has a concrete block, say 3 feet straight up, 3 feet
Okay.
straight, like vertical 90.
Yeah.
Either you ride over the concrete or you ride from the tire mine, and tire mine is like 100 meter of tire mine,
Okay.
and very badly packed. And this is just the start. So I started 137th that day, and I
Okay.
finished 35th.
Yes.
So this is the push which the prologue can give you. It's just for the early start.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then?
And then next day I started, and I still had some 500 people ahead of me, you know. So riding after a lot of dirt bike pass through a similar section, say loose section, mud and sand, the track breaks up like badly.
Right.
So you're struggling, you know. So you try to be as fast as you can, and you have to be in the front runner so that you don't get packed up. I'm overtaking people every mile or say every second mile, and there are still 30 competitors ahead of me. So in India, when I was racing in India, it was like, you know, after first day, after like in the second stage or third stage, it's just 2-3 guys fighting each other, because the fast guys are running really fast ahead of other people, and then you don't find traffic. In Romaniacs, there were 675 people, so no matter how fast you're running, you're still meeting people. So it was very different. And the sport is brutal, you know, the camaraderie there is great. Amazing camaraderie. Like,
Right.
people were really happy when I told them I'm from India. They was like, wow. And they, you know, I was the first Indian at Redbull Romaniacs, but butter chicken and naan was there already.
What?
When I told them that I'm from India, they were like, oh, butter chicken and naan. It's like, wow.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That's some identity.
Yeah.
Which are the circuits that you did? I mean, which are the big races that you did where you... you must have started with the Shojoba or something, right? Everybody starts there.
I started with Gulf Monsoon.
Yeah,
Then I
of
went
course.
to Desert Storm, Sajoba,
Okay, you
Redbull
went to
Himalaya.
Desert Storm first and then...
Yeah.
Okay.
Desert Storm first without any preparation, you know, and just
Lovely.
straight out of college. Hello, I'm here.
Did you get slapped or...
Yeah.
You
Yes.
sandpapered?
Yeah, man. And I've never been to desert before. I've only seen it on Discovery TV, and I'm out in the desert. I'm like, and I'm wearing a jacket because in mountains it is winters and February, and I'm like, why isn't it cold? Then my friend offered me something to eat, you know, which was full of oil. I said, why it is so spicy and oily?
Yeah.
So it's like, this is the culture, man. You have to respect it.
Yeah.
It was bad. I didn't know how to ride. And
Right.
I fell so many times and I
Right.
was ashamed, but still,
But it
that's-
was a learning experience.
yeah,
right?
I didn't quit. So I
Yeah.
still finished overall 6th.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, with a seized engine. I was giving engine oil every day to my bike, like 6-7 liters. I put in my bike, and C.S. Santosh and this other guy, Suresh Babu, was
Yeah.
there from Team Suzuki at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So they just keep on gifting me engine oil. Like they pitied me. Like they were like, it's just
Hello.
a young kid trying to do something. So they were like, come on,
That's
bro.
so supportive.
Yeah, culture has been quite supportive,
Yeah.
At my first race also, I had a lot of people helping me, like Arjun Raina helped me.
Yeah.
Then I had a friend called Shah Alam. He came with me to Shimla just to flag me off, because they were
Wow.
so proud that after 10 years a boy is coming from our town and going for Raid the Himalaya.
Okay.
So it was a great experience.
And how was the raid the Himalaya?
It was great, man. Like
You've done quite maybe 2-3 of them?
2-3 of them, and the first one, that one, I was on a scooter, So I will say it was great, but I'll tell you later.
No, go ahead, tell me.
So on a scooter, it was stupid.
Okay. Yeah,
It
of
was-
course it is stupid.
it was-
and that's awesome, man.
It was so foolish to ride my scooter up at 4:30 a.m., 5:30 at Rohtang Pass. I can't see anything. There's fog, there's cold water, black ice, and scooter is not running. It's 20 kmph or 15 kmph. And I'm just, trying to get up. Then at Kumzumla Pass, the culture says, like, how it goes, that we all respect the mother. Kumzumla is actually a name of a mata
Yeah.
in their culture, or say in Hindu culture also.
Yeah.
That day I met the Mata, because I was not able to climb the scooter, so I was pushing the scooter on 16,000 feet. So I actually felt that I am gone now,
Yeah.
I could see the God
Yeah.
within and outside.
Yeah.
So it was awful, but then at the downhill I was overtaking boys on my motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like the guys were on the motorcycle, I was on a moped.
Yeah.
And I'm taking the case, on the downhill because it is something naturally coming from the mountains.
Yeah.
So I was faster on the downhill section where I don't need power. So it was great. It was a great experience to
That
learn
was
from.
your first raid the Himalaya?
Yeah, first.
Which year
raid.
was that?
This was 2013.
2013. When was the next one?
Next one was 16, I think.
Okay.
And then I did the Aina C rounds, Baroda, Indore,
Yeah.
Coimbatore and all. It was also great learning and fun.
Yeah.
Then I was into Supercross.
Yeah.
I was racing a race in Nasik, and I was racing my friend's bike,
Yeah.
a KX250, and I went in air and the engine got cut.
Hmm.
So I just landed nose down and the bike landed on my collar. So the impact was so intense that, I could feel that bike pump on my collar and I can see my bones moving out.
Wow.
And then riding in the ambulance, and I'm like, okay, the race is done. So
Yeah.
for me, more than the pain was there that race is done. I can't race that race. But then after 15-20 days, I came back for the rally.
Yeah.
So it has been always cat and mouse with me and my
Yeah.
body and
Yeah.
mentally,
I heard something very interesting last week, and a lot of people were complaining for a long time that, motorsport is not supported in India by the government. And I'm hearing that there's some big policy changes coming where motorsport will now become legal.
Okay.
And how have you seen in these years, I mean, you're a 90s kid, right? So 90s to here, how have you seen it evolve?
I would say, apart from some people trying to give their 100% to survive the sport,
Yeah.
sport has only degraded from the time it was at your time, say the 80s or maybe 70s, when the Prime Minister used to flag off the race from the Jalen Stadium, and
Yeah.
convoys used to come down from Europe, like caravans used to come, and whole
Yes.
Volkswagen team and
Yes.
people from all over the world. So
Yes.
a lot of people don't know this, but actually Dakar came out of India, because
Yeah.
before Dakar, there used to be a race called the GDH, Great Desert Himalayan.
Yes.
It used to start near Gujarat and end in
Yes.
Ladakh.
Yes.
So that era was very different, and it was a super elite sport.
Right.
Motorsport is a very expensive sport.
Yes.
So that time was very different, and in the 2000s, what I've seen is sponsors supporting one sport, but one rally or one stuff, and then they're running away from it in the second run or in the third run. So for the organizer also, it becomes very challenging, Having a sponsor is a very big thing.
Yes.
And with the influence of other sports, like, not to be precise with any sport, but sports with a higher fan base, like people who watch those sports, or sports with the culture of betting and stuff, it has killed the rest of the sport, which cannot be, like Motorsport, it is very difficult to cheat.
Right.
Like, either the person has sold his soul that he wants to come second or third, or it is impossible for someone to cheat because it's a single guy sport, one person fighting the other person. And with motorsport in India, it's looking like more of a hooligan kind of a sport where people think that they want to freak out and they'll harm the society or something like that. But my message to the general public is, if you really want to save kids, who die on the road or who do reckless stuff and kill people on the road, you give them a platform.
Yeah.
So in America, before America got this skating culture, before the skating rinks came up,
Right.
the skate parks, people used to do it on the road and a lot of people used to die.
Right.
But then the government came up with a plan where they made skate parks in every county, in every place, every
Right.
society they had skate parks.
Right. So
People-
if you were given the opportunity to, let's say, become the prime minister or the transport minister or the sports minister or something, let's just imagine that, okay? What would you like to see in this new India,
In this new India, first thing,
for your sport?
for my sport, I would love to see, like actual veterans who have been great champions and people,
Yes.
not just champions, people who have been active with the sport,
Yes.
getting the freedom of expression, and being able to do sports.
Okay.
And then I would love to see different state jerseys, like people representing Kerala, people representing Delhi, people representing, say, Haryana, and different, like each other's, every sport is like that, nationals and stuff. Because what I know is we have a lot of talent in India. And there's n number of riders who can put their heart and soul to the sport.
Right.
And we have a very big advantage of terrain.
What about infrastructure? That's exactly what I was going to ask you.
So-
What kind of infrastructure would you want? Like, race tracks or...
Absolutely, racetracks to start with beginners and a proper race school
Yeah.
where people can balance their studies and balance their... I want everyone to study too, with the sport also a lot of people just do sports and quit studies. But what I feel, thanks to my parents, that they send me through the traditional way and I had to study and do my part. So it helps you with the sport also, with your thinking on the soaps, with your thinking of the sport and
Yeah.
how you think about your tuner or your manager or people around.
Yeah.
It makes you more mature. So maybe with a proper education, say schools which have motorsport as a facility in them and people can learn there, train there, apart from them having a India team. So most of the international countries have their KTM racing teams.
Right.
Compared to India, where India owns 49% of KTM globally, India doesn't have a single team.
Well,
So it feels sad. And with coming to factory racing in India, if we say we have two factory racing teams, both the teams are specifically into one type of sport, say rally.
right.
They're not into international supercross, they're not into international enduro, they're not
Right.
into international road
So there's
racing.
enough scope to grow into.
There's a lot of scope,
Yeah.
Seeing at the masses of the population of the country, there's a very great scope.
Right.
And if me being in the ministry, I would love to give people, opportunities around it.
Right.
Just not for the people who are racing hardcore.
Yeah.
Me being an athlete, I won't be partial here that only for the athletes.
Right.
Because an athlete is nothing without an organizer or nothing without a person
Absolutely.
like you who can be the expression, No, I'm being honest and I'm not trying to,
No, I'm just documenting this. I'm just...
So we need people who document and listen to it and people realize how important and what amazing culture this is.
So where are we going next?
My plan for next year is I'm going to be racing in Europe. I'm going to be racing a race called Erzberg. It happens at an iron ore mine in Austria.
Uh-huh.
And you have to climb up the mine and take 3 laps of it.
Uh-huh.
So it is also a brutal race, but I'm looking forward to it. I'll be competing with some 1,500 people. So there are 1,500 people on the start line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and after that I'm planning Apstone. Apstone is a race in Italy,
Okay.
which is famous for its rocks. Like you have to do
Okay.
a lot of rock business. Yeah, you'll be
Right.
rock climbing on a motorcycle.
Right, right.
Then Romaniacs for sure.
Wow.
And then there is a race called Hispania that
Okay.
happens in Spain.
Okay.
So these are the 4 rounds of the National World Championship which I want to participate in.
Okay.
And I'm trying to work out with sponsors as much as I can.
Right.
Because I'll be very honest with you, Sandy.
Yeah.
I approached 750 brands for Romaniacs.
Wow.
And the funnel came down to 7. And out of those 7...
1%.
Yeah, out of those 1%, those were the people who I knew personally,
Right.
They had that soft corner and they have seen me hustle through my sport.
Who
So
are these people? Tell me.
These amazing people are like one of my previous bosses,
Okay.
Mr. Arvind Balan.
Okay.
He heads a team called Team Experience. It's a event company in Gurgaon.
Okay.
So then the moment I told him that I am doing this, it was like straight up. He's like, "We are doing this. You're going."
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Balan.
He started putting out mails. He was like, he just changed his role from a managing director of a company to a manager.
Right.
And he started pulling out mails. He's like,
What's the company he works for?
"My Experience."
Okay.
So he started sending out mails, asking those people that this is talent we have from India, then helping me with my license.
Yes.
So I had to submit my license of Indian Federation and take the European Federation license.
Okay.
So that was also a process which he helped me with.
Okay.
And then there is my one sponsor called Harji Motorsports.
Oh, yeah.
So Harji Motorsports has been a pillar from a long time.
Yes.
And that guy also straight up, he was so happy that I'm going to be racing this.
Yeah.
So he straight up said, "We are always with you."
Oh, wow.
Then I had a Mr. Shyam Kothari, Godspeed Racing.
Ooh.
So I asked him when I was going, and just 1 week before I was going, he just asked for money and he said, I was waiting for a work. It was an emotion, like people came out and they helped me. One of my friend's mother, I've met that lady just once in my life in Bangalore. And the moment my friend Achin told her about about my expedition, she straight up said, "Okay, let him finalize the entry." And entry was some 1890 euros, somewhere close to 1.5 lakh rupees. And she just gave it. She was like, "Go, son, I want you to race. This is for India." So it has been very heartwarming.
It's great.
There was moments in the race, when I was done, because first day when I was thinking of those gentlemen telling me that this is the hardest race, and on the fifth day,
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, did you kick ass?
yeah, but on the fifth day I saw people 6'6", 6'7" of height crying inside the race, because they were like, "We can't do this now.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
This is so difficult. I can't do this."
Yeah.
And to myself also, I was like, why I signed up for this? I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
But then I closed my eyes and I visualized, all these people and my parents, and it was a different feeling, Like I have goosebumps right now while
I
talking
can
about
see
this.
that.
And I said to myself, no, I'm here. I'm not here just for me. It's
Yeah.
not just my race. It is for each and every Indian who believes that they can race internationally.
Yes,
They can be there at the World Championship.
absolutely.
So I have to build this bridge. I have to prove. After breaking my ankle also,
Yeah.
I was in bad pain.
Yeah.
And I had to still go some 15 kilometers more for the race to finish. I rode
You
with
broke an ankle.
I broke an ankle in the race, and I rode with a broken ankle and a broken ligament on my left wrist.
Woo.
I duct taped my left wrist because this was falling down.
Yeah.
So I didn't wanted that motion to go down because I need this to be stiff
Yeah.
to hold the bike. So I didn't had any option. I had duct tape in my this hydration pack. I just duct taped my hand, not thinking about the waxing part of it later.
Yeah.
And for my leg, I knew till the time it is in wood, I won't be able to break it further.
Yeah.
So that's about it.
Oh my
I
God.
had to cut one of my boots latch to take out my leg because
extricate
it was like a pumpkin, but
Oh my God.
it was great, man. The feeling for being for India and doing for my country, and so many people. I was getting so many messages, so many that
Yes.
they were not saying all the best. They were like, "We are proud of you. Thank
Yes.
you
Oh, wow.
that you are doing this." So
Yeah.
that feeling, for that feeling, the game changes.
On behalf of you, I'd like to thank all the people who supported you. And I'd like to invite people who are listening in to think about what kind of support they can provide. You guys are all connected, guys. Come on, just pick up your phone, do something. Let's take this forward. Shardul Sharma, Shas, thank you so much for being on the Biker Radio Rodcast. And thank you for so much for being on the long way home. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's always a great experience to meet you.
Thank you.
Brap.